Salatina. That's my language, Salatina. What I said, all my relations. I come from the far north. For many of you, you probably think it's very cold, but it's not. I want to share with you what is going on in the world, what is going on here, what is going on in our homeland in the north. Before the doctrine of discovery, we have been warned of the events that are to be here. We have prophecies that has brought us here, and tomorrow, what is going to take place? When I was 21 years old, I became the leader, the chief of my tribe. I want to say that one of my first responsibilities is to protect the tribe, the womankind, and more so, Mother Earth. Not to abuse Mother Earth. I, 21 years old, we filed this huge court case in the north. It's called the Paulette case. We won that major court battle. This forced the Canadian government to recognize that there is such a thing, in their words, as Aboriginal rights and titles. There was 26 of us chiefs. I am the last remaining chief. The next battle was they wanted to build a Mackenzie gas pipeline from way in the north all the way down here. The 34 tribal groups in the north, we took offense to that. In a 2-year time, we challenged that they could not do that, not in our homeland, not in the foreseeable future. In 1977, the oil companies walked away from that. I was in that battle. Not soon after, the next battle, they wanted to dam the beautiful river that I live by. This river that has sustained us for thousands and thousands of years. So I took that challenge. 3 times, non-Dene people, white people, wanted to dam the river so they can have energy 2,000 megawatts. All three of them, we won the challenge. They walked away from it. These protecting the earth was the most important thing that I could have done, along with those other chiefs. Because water is life. Water is the center of all life. And that was important for us to protect that river. In that river, there is 21 species of fish. I have relatives here that come from the east arm of Great Slave Lake. That lake and the east arm, a beautiful water. You still can drink that water with a cup and drink it. But that's not going to last forever. So, my friends, water has now been contaminated by the tar sands. I'm not going to talk about the tar sands. The lady before yesterday talked about it. And the water on the river is the lowest we have ever seen. I just wanted to show you a clip of what's happening in our homeland, on the river.
My name is Lord Cheesy. This is my territory. I've never seen the water level this low before, where the fish couldn't even go upstream. When I was young, we couldn't cross this little stream right here we got now, which is not wide. It's about 20 feet wide now. But in the old days, it was maybe 100 feet wide. Some places.
I'm Jane Dragon. I moved to Fort Smith when I was 9, so I've been here for 70 years. And I had never seen a river like that. This is the first time. The world is changing lots with us. I don't know how we'll be when you're my age. All the delta had dried up. The birds not going there anymore because it's all dried up.
Well, there's less of everything. There's less buffaloes, less caribou, less moose.
It's never been this low. Now then, the ice is stuck to the mud, and it's never been like that. Pretty soon we'll walk across.
I am standing on the shore of the Dog River, but in a normal year, this would be underwater. The water would be up over here. But this is pitiful.
There's a lot of concern amongst Native people because we're downstream from all these industries, especially the dams on the Peace River and the tailing ponds from Fort Mac. They use up all the water before it gets here, and they pollute it also.
Without water, we won't live that long. You know, it's very important. And polluting it, it's even worse.
Everything is in danger. Everything is, all these fish, the four-legged animals, birds, they're all impacted, not just humans. But humans is the biggest cause of this climate change. It's global warming. And to be honest, they don't really care. They don't care. They could build all the pipelines they want, open up all the bitumen mines, the tar sand. So what? All they want to do is make money. But while they're doing that, this beautiful land is being destroyed. So there is no balance in what's happening between the environment, Mother Earth, and the people that want to continue to destroy the land by tar sands, by industrial development. There's no balance. It's out of balance. We are in an emergency situation. Canada needs to adopt emergency measures and declaring that there's impact through climate change on the environment.
If they built another dam, they're talking about it. And I think that one will finish us off.
So what we're going to do if we ran out of water? Well, we can't make water. It's got to rain before we have any water. And it's a shame that money is more important than water. I mean, you couldn't live on money. You can't buy water if there's no water. They don't do anything. They don't try and do anything. They don't even go public about how low the water is. They can't go against the big industry like the BC dams. But we can. We will fight the dams all the way. And the tar sands also. We haven't given up, just laying low.
In the north, the country is vast. This river flows from the ice fields and the mountains. It goes all the way to the Arctic Ocean. I was with a group of elders that worked and advised Western doctors about traditional practices of medicine and protocols. And one of the things that kept coming up was cancer. Why is there so much cancer along the river system? So we asked the doctor to give us an analysis of what types of cancer was there. 2 or 3 weeks later, they came back, and the elders pretty much figured it out. Here, nationally in Canada, stomach cancer is the 3rd highest. For some unknown reason, in the north, it's the highest. And we asked the doctor, where is this coming from? They only can point to the environment. Because the water has been impacted all the way to the Mackenzie. Right today, you cannot navigate the Mackenzie River. The ships that normally would go up the river to supply the communities, you cannot do that. You either have to fly it in, and it's hard on the communities. And because of the tar sands, forest fires, wildfires, there are a lot of people that have respiratory problems. and people are dying of respiratory problem. Unlike down here, there's only 33 villages, First Nations up in the north, Yellowknife being the biggest. So we are confronted with challenges. But as people in the north, we had to stay together. The chiefs, the leaders, if one of the chiefs defected from their responsibility of protecting earth, the white man knows that, and he sees that, and he takes advantage of that. So far, in the north, we have a reasonable, clean environment. We do not get into fossil fuel industry. We do not do that. Because we know that fossil fuel is the #1 damage globally to Mother Earth. So the other big event that's taking place is wildfires. Wildfires all come from the warming, the heat. In the spring, there is a continuous wind from the east. The wind from the east is unusual in the spring. It dries up the country faster, evaporates the snow faster than the sun can melt the snow. So it's creating problems for the people. Next slide. This slide here is, we do ceremonies, what we call feeding the fire ceremony. The forestry departments, 3 of them, one from Alberta, one for the Northwest Territories, and the park, Wood Buffalo Park, ask the chief, who is my son, says, is there a ceremony we can do so we can protect and defend how we're going to live with fire? Yes, and we have that. So feeding of the fire ceremony took place. Feeding of the fire ceremony is we're asking the ancestors, the old people, the holy people, to intervene in these huge fires that were around us. So we make offering, tobacco offering. And the woman's part is the food. We have a feast and we have food that is also fed to the fire. We do this most of the time, if we can do all of the time. So this feeding of the fire ceremony is everyone can be part of it, including Hoskana. Hoskana means the visitors that come to our country. And all of these people, by the end of the ceremony, there were 300 firefighters. And they took part in this ceremony. They've never engaged in a ceremony. And I witnessed some of the people crying that for the first time, that they realize that a fire is a living spirit, and we need to know how to live with it. So tears came down. It is for us in the north, protecting the earth, the water, is the biggest part of our life. I have 5 boys, 2 daughters. I got 12 grandchildren. 6 boys, 6 beautiful grandgirls. And they look at me and they say to me, they have 2 words to identify me, Mushum and Setsia. And I'm always constantly telling them stories, reminding them who they are, their responsibility, because we live out in the bush. I don't live in town. I live by the big river. And the world that we know it as is shrinking. I come from the Buffalo Nation country. I've been with the buffalo since I've ever known it. They are on the decline. The caribous to the north, to where my relatives live, the caribou are on the decline. All of these are all sources of life for us. And we have ceremonies to involve the Buffalo Nation, to really understand nature, Mother Earth, all the living things, including those mosquitoes that harass us right now. They are part of the living world. And my grandchildren, I try to instill hope. That there is a way if we stay together, if we follow the prophecies. I will share a prophecy with you. Where I come from, the Buffalo Nation are moving north. They're way up in the Yellowknife area. That's quite a ways. The other muskox, he's a smaller version of the buffalo. He's about this big. He is moving south. The people that prophesied, he said, in the future, when the buffalo and the muskox come together, there is going to be some upheaval in our lives and in the world. The muskox are close to where I live. Practically, they're close to the buffalo. They're going to be coming together soon. And I fear for what is going to happen. They also say that people from the south, from the deep south, they are going to start to move north. And that's happening. Because he said a long time ago, Dreitotina, stone people. They're going to come in our country. That's before the treaties, Treaty 8 and 11. That they're going to come for two things. Te Samba, that's gold. The other one, Clistora, oil. They're going to make their money and they're going to leave. But when the tough times come, they are going to return, this time crying. They are looking for two things, water and food. And again, it's our responsibility. We must have compassion for these people that have been doing wrong to themselves, to Mother Earth. The doctrine of discovery, over 500 years ago, their whole thinking, their whole philosophy, their whole belief system is based on controlling and having dominion over all living things. And that means everything, including us people. So, right now, we are preparing. This summer, I'm going to be building a food shelter, food security, because we are asked to do that by prophets, by the holy people, to prepare. They tell us we must put food aside for up to 2 years. Up to 2 years. So, that is what I'm doing. And other people are starting to recognize that these prophecies are coming true. It is we are in a difficult time. You have a man in the South and in the States, the elevator doesn't go all the way to the top on this man. Simple as that. His life is different. And he is doing what he has to do. So I want just to say that bringing hope to the grandchildren, that we must learn to go back to the bush. My tribe that I belong to, we have camps, one in the spring, one in the fall, one in the winter, where we bring the young people together to teach them about the bush, of how to fillet fish, of how to skin out a moose, of how to make dry meat. We have these camps because all of our lives is to live with Mother Earth. We cannot abuse her. I've learned that way since I was a young chief. Before that, I'm a trained tracker. I'm a hunter. My father taught me those skills to be a tracker. But now I'm getting old, I cannot even track my wife where she goes to. Yes. She outsmarts me all the time. Yeah, it's a. So in the north, Treaty 8, Treaty 11, if the oil companies, resource people want to come in and destroy the earth, they have a hell of a time to do that. Because the Paulette case stands on a road of them. It's a legal case. And there is, for the first time in 73, the government of the day, 1973, recognized there is such a thing as rights that Indian people have, First Nations. So do not be afraid. Here, you're in Treaty 6, and the North, Treaty 8, Saskatchewan, Treaty 8, BC, Treaty 8, and the North, Treaty 8, and Treaty 11. In the North and the Treaty 8 area, we have over 450,000 square miles of land. So no resource people can just go in there and do what they want to do. Those days are over. So when I travel nationally in the world, not too long ago I was amongst Islam country, Qatar. I was in Doha because people are looking for a spiritual way of life. In Doha, Islam people, there's 1,200 of them at this conference. And I'm talking to them the way I'm talking to you. Because their belief system is similar, but they are distracted by fossil fuel. The wars are raging. It's all got to do with fossil fuel. When I traveled the Scandinavian countries, same thing. They're looking for a reason of how to be a spiritual person. I traveled to South Africa or Africa, the same story. They're looking for a way of life that you may have put aside. I'll tell you this crazy story. I took my wife to South Africa. By the way, my wife is a Mohawk. She is a midwife, Western traditional. We were at this place, and there was a tribal ceremony that took place for us. There they have a different thinking. They see me as a high chief, they say. High chief. How high? I don't know. Anyway, they were having a feast in our honor. And it was to start, the moderator came up to me. He says, "Chief, medicine man, how many wives did you bring with you?" I looked at my wife. And before I could say anything, he says, "You see that man over there?" "Yeah." He's got strong medicine, very strong medicine. If you have strong medicine, you can have many wives. He has 25 wives. I look at my wife, I said, I was born in the wrong country. Anyway, he says that man has 52 children. Anyway, he comes back to me, "Okay, medicine man chief," he says, "How many wives did you bring?" "Just one, that's her." And I said, "I am not the one with the medicine, that's her." That throw him right off. So there's all different cultural systems in the world, and we have to adjust to it. We're not better than them, and we have to have patience. Having patience, tolerance, compassion is part of who we are as Denisotina people, as First Nations people. I try not to use the term indigenous, because it doesn't come from our language, it comes from somewhere else. Or Aboriginal, it comes from somewhere else. I say Denisotina. I am a Denisotina. I am part of this huge tribe. We have brothers in the South. They are Navajos and Apaches. We speak the similar language. White people say Athabascan, but we're Denisotina. We've been around since time immemorial. Our people say, "Nori tana et thank e hutilile janitil tiro." What they are saying is that our people traveled the stars before we came here. That's how far our history goes back. These star travelers that traveled here, white people call them UFOs, but they're scared of the UFOs. But for us, they've been around. We call them star travelers. In our language, star travelers. So my friends, I encourage you, get ready, prepare, put food aside, and however way you're going to do it for up to 2 years. I'm not the only one that says that. The people in the South, the Mohawk people, say that. So it's come a time, and I want to thank Orville and his wife for sharing their prophecies of their teachings and their learnings, because it's part of all of us. It is part of Mother Earth. And I want to thank you to listening to me. It's a short talk, but as a chief, I can speak for a long time, but I don't do that anymore. My son does that. He's the chief. So, Masi Cho, thank you so much, my dear friends. My talk is over.